All right, let's see. We should be live. Let me fix my mic. Bear with me. All right, let's see. My headphones. Test. Can you guys hear me? Just want to confirm a couple things. Let's see. All right. We should be good. Sorry about that. I had a little mic trouble earlier. I just was working through it. Sorry, guys. I want to do another Inside the Green Room segment. First, the sponsors. We've had kind of a lot of stuff going on, so there's a lot to get to. Thanks, Daryl. I'm glad it sounds good. I have so much to get to today, but first, the sponsors. I want to give special thanks to Rhino Metals, Sig Sauer, Right On Optics, Pulsar, Galco Leather Holsters, Inforce Weapon Lights, Blackwater Ammunition, and Volkortsen Firearms. Scott Volkortsen was out here. We're going to get to that. There's a lot to cover today, and I'm sorry. We've been working through the kinks a little bit in the office. There's been some stuff moved around, and obviously we have a new mic set up. I'm sure a few of you have noticed. Maybe not. Happy Halloween. So let's get into this. I want to first do a little bit of a guest recap. We had an awesome week all the way through Tom Taylor at 6 Hour, which I'm going to get to that. We had Buck Sexton on, which was another awesome episode. We also had Claudia Gadelha on, which was another awesome episode with some big announcements and some big, revelations on her career. So I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. Yes, Scott is a big Hawkeye fan, Daryl. Of course he is. And I appreciate everybody that sends questions in. I'll do my best to hit them. I'm kind of paying attention to them a little bit more in the green room stuff, so it's easier for me to kind of have some back and forth with you guys to cover. Now, I want to start with Tom Taylor of 6 Hour. We had Tom Taylor on. Tremendous episode. If you had the opportunity to listen to it. Now, I know for my regular listeners or guys that tune into the podcast, because these episodes don't make it on the audio format, and there's reasons for that. This goes a little deeper into the background of some of the stuff we cover, and it just may not be for you. Tom Taylor is essentially the CMO over at 6 Hour. And he's the head of sales. I believe he uses the title general manager or senior VP. Whatever the case is, he's the number 2 guy there. And Tom is a super smart guy, very, very astute marketer, forward thinker, progressive. He was, very honest, very forthright, brought up a lot of compelling points. We talked a lot about Sig's exit from SHOT Show. I've been very critical of that show for a very long time, guys. It's not that we don't support the NSSF or support SHOT Show. We just all feel the same thing. Changes need to be made. The format needs to be adjusted. There needs to come a little bit of a reckoning and a little bit of a change. So that's what a lot of that speaks to. SIG has been at the forefront of a lot of that in and around the industry as it pertains to innovation, forward thinking on how to distribute and get its product out there and how it licenses its product. They do a phenomenal job, and there's no question that I've been a big believer in how they approach things for a long time, and that's okay. Now, full disclosure, yes, they support the show, but it's taken a long time to get there. And I just want to say that I think for those that understood the concepts and things that Tom and I were discussing as it relates to this industry, which I know isn't for everybody, he gave a masterclass on marketing and on the approach in the industry and just how the approach needs to change and just, really masterful stuff. If you get a chance to listen to it, what a great episode. And if you're a fan of 6 Hour products, by all means, go check him out. But he's not alone. I just want to say, guys, he's not alone. There's great guys out there like Scott Volkortsen, Brady from Right On Optics, Brady Speed. There's guys out there that are progressive thinkers that do share the same thoughts that we all do in terms of how some of these things have to change and some of the marketing needs to change at the NSSF level, at the NRA level, and they need to start to take that stuff seriously. It's becoming a little bit of a running joke. I mean, the industry just needs to level up, and I think we all can agree with that. And we want nothing but the best for it. And let me be clear, we all support the show. We all support that stuff. And I appreciate all you guys that do support this show. Now, we had Buck Sexton on, But first, I want to get to my guest right after Tom, which was Chris Naganama. Now, Chris, also known around the industry affectionately as Nug, is one of the best human beings you'll ever encounter. That was a fabulous podcast. He's now working with Napalm Brands, and he's been a fixture in and around the gun industry for a very long time. What an awesome guy. I know he has a lot of thoughts. We go back a while. I've always been a big fan of Chris's. He's always supported the things that I've been a part of, and I'm looking forward to his journey. And what a treat. You know, he comes in, and we had Exhibit in here too. Awesome treat. I really enjoyed that. Now, if you get a chance, check it out. After Chris, we were lucky enough to have Claudia Gadelha on, who had some really big announcements before she went over to catch the fights over at Yaz Island. She discussed her career and took a lot of looks inside herself, and I know as her friend, she's been contemplating some of these things and considering where her career is and the opportunities that she has available to her. And if you know Claudia, she's a fantastic lady, and you know, literally, as she likes to tell me, grew up in a jungle and managed to get to where she is now, being for as long as I've known her, a top 10 competitor in her division, and really a mainstay in that division for a very long time. And I consider her my friend, and it was emotional to hear her talk about it coming to the end. Now, what I think she meant by that is, I don't think it was a retirement announcement. What I think Claudia meant by that was just the opportunity of her winning the title and going on, you know, a long title run is probably not there. Just the way the division's set up and how it all breaks down for her. What I do think she's showing that's available to her is maybe the opportunity to fight 2 or 3 more fights. And along the way, you know, there might be that one special fight that just it's time to go out on your shield, you know, and kind of, you know, take the next opportunity. That's a very hard thing for someone to admit that's made that their life. And I've never had anybody announce anything like that on the show. So it's very interesting to get into that with her. And I appreciate her for sharing that. I appreciate that for her, you know, her career, and just, you know, looking forward to seeing what the next chapter brings. I know some of the opportunities ahead for her. At least I have an idea. So, you know, she's got the world, you know, in a good spot for her to kind of start considering these things. And I think that she needs to. Now, with that being said, great interview. You know, you can fast forward to the end and see that part, but she gets into how she enjoys shooting, and there's just a lot of other things she's enjoying right now in life. So go check that out. After we had Claudia Gadelha on, we got to have Buck Sexton on, and that was a real treat. If you got an opportunity to see the Buck Sexton episode, I want to clarify a few things. I want to get into some things on his episode. Buck Sexton essentially took over as the new Rush Limbaugh. Now, a few people have asked me this. Yes, we did go to college in the same town. We didn't know each other. A couple people did ask me that. We have figured out that we've been in the same places, you know, we've been around the same circles. But we had a couple of conversations before he came in, and very candid talks, and we talked about a few things. And obviously it's two very like-minded individuals getting together and hanging out. And I was fortunate to get to spend some time with him on the range and get to just hang out with him and be a good guy. Sorry if I sound nasally, guys. I have allergies, so, you know, a little bit of build-up. But if you get a chance to check out the Buck Sexton episode, what a great episode. And he's such a great media mind, and he's, you know, just a tremendous host, you can tell. I hopefully will be doing a cameo on a segment or two of his coming up. We did discuss that. I told him I would gladly either head out to New York or Skype in or whatever. I did offer myself completely to that cause to see if there's a segment that matches up and we can do something. I do want to clarify, you know, a few people asked me, whether you're a national person like Dana Loesch or some of these other people, listen, I just think there's a greater responsibility here in the industry. And I think that a lot of you, especially the FFLs out there, deserve a certain amount of representation in the conversation. And that's the number one thing that's important to me. A lot of you have spent a lot of time building your businesses, building your practice, whatever it is. And I'm telling you guys, I really want to see this industry flourish. In my opinion, I'd like to see more people come forward to discuss those that are affected financially by some of the decisions that are made. And that's really important to me. The FFLs, the businesses, the manufacturers, I feel like their voice gets lost in this a little bit based on who the national spokespeople bring into the interview and bring into the conversation. And that concerns me a little bit, and I think that that's important. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I feel like that's wavered, and it's important to bring that back in. Now, otherwise, what a great time with Buck. If you get an opportunity and you check that episode out, I really think you guys will enjoy it. He is like, literally without the following, a Ben Shapiro type mindset, very good, very witty guy. You don't go to Amherst College easily. I'll tell you that right now where he went. And CIA after that. So what a great story. If you guys get a chance, go check it out. Appreciate everybody who's chatting in the chat. If you get any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Now, during the week, we had a chance to hang out with Valentina Shevchenko, UFC champion. She filmed this. The reason she showed up in some media, guys, she filmed a segment with Scott Volkortson for his podcast and did a little media with him. So I hope that didn't confuse anybody. Somebody asked me, a few people have done this. You guys have asked me like how many times I've had her on or how many times I've had Claudia on. Before having Claudia on the second time, I've only had them on once each. They just happen to be friends of mine and they show up in some media. So, someone else said it when I posted a picture. Oh, you're having Valentina on again. And I said, I've only had her on once, So just, go through the archives. I know there's some guests that folks have missed and maybe not seen. If you get the opportunity, go check those episodes out. They stand on their own. They're great. And yes, we will be interviewing some people a second time as they have more stuff happening. And don't forget, it doesn't matter how big of a podcast you are. A lot of guys, it's good to go back and see what these folks are up to, because I know, just like me, you guys enjoy the conversations with some of these folks. And if you do enjoy some folks more than others, let me know in comments and everything else, and I'll get them back on. If I don't know you like the segment, it's hard for me to figure it out. But Scott and the crew from Volkortson were here, and it's always a treat having them in town. So there was some daytime stuff, some nighttime stuff, but always good stuff with those guys. And I love seeing Scott any chance I can, and Chad and his team. Those guys, just great guys. So if you get a chance, check out the brand. What else? What am I missing? Oh, upcoming episodes. I knew I was missing some things. Then I want to circle back and get to SHOT Show and all the other juicy stuff. We got some great upcoming guests. I got a guy on tomorrow, wrote a book. Mike Simpson, I believe. I'll double check in my notes. I haven't gone through my notes on it in defense. I'm going to go through them today. I don't like to go through them till about a day before an episode or a night before, so it's fresh in my mind and I can have a good conversation about it. But I got to go through my stuff. But he has a book, and sounds like it's going to be a pretty exciting one from the couple lines I've read already. Now, after The Good Doctor, I know we have Byron Rogers. So I'm doing this off of memory, guys. I don't have a cheat sheet. We have Byron Rogers coming on. So Byron is a private security, EP, executive protection, whatever the term is they're using now, guy. Super good guy from what I understand. Goes around, he teaches a lot of the instructors, puts on a lot of really cool seminars. Definitely one of the badass type dudes, from what I understand. I don't know him super well. We were connected through mutual friends, and we have talked. And I do agree with a lot of his principles, and I see a lot of the stuff he preaches. A lot of it makes sense to me. So it's going to be an interesting conversation with him. But sometimes, just like you guys, I'm talking to these guys for the first time, and it's not like, I've been buddies with them for 10 years. I'll tell you if I have. But I do know a lot of guys he's connected with. We share a lot of mutual friends, and, I've always liked his work from a distance. So it'll be great having him. I'm looking forward to that. I believe that's Saturday. In between, I'll try to get you another segment like this. I know it's a lot, like we've already gone almost longer than any green room segment, in the past, but a lot of times it's hard for me to get you guys all this information. Now, I want to touch on the NSSF, SHOT Show, the NRA, all those things. I want to be clear about something based on the last couple episodes and things maybe you read in media, especially if you track my LinkedIn. and consider this an official statement and or press release. I 100% support those organizations. I think they're great organizations. And just like the conversation I had with Tom of 6 Hour, I 100% believe in the mission. I don't believe necessarily they're going down the right path with some of the marketing and how they translate the show. Now, there's reasons for that. And there is a path for redemption. But you cannot keep charging booths and companies hundreds of thousands of dollars for booth space and the show never changes, okay? It's a trade organization, and it offers a huge legislative arm that is tremendously important to the industry. Let me be clear about that. Hugely tremendous to the industry. There is no question about that. Nobody questions that. And nobody's paying me to say this. I have not talked to Larry at NSSF, though I want to. I have not talked to Mark. I have not talked to any of these guys at NRA. Jason, we met and I do talk, but again, not something that we all disagree on. We need these entities, whether it's Gun Owners of America, whether it's FPC, any of these different orgs that Tom and I discussed. It's not the mission. They just need to find a better way to connect with all of you guys. And part of my issue is the way that they're trying to connect is so archaic, it's almost barbaric in how they want to connect. So it's really important for me to get across to you guys. We need these organizations. I can disagree with how they run a trade show. And you all know what I'm talking about out there. You're all of a younger generation and you understand this. You can't do a trade show. This is just as recently as a couple years ago. And they're talking about how to advertise on Facebook in some of these classes and continuing education stuff that they teach. And it's just, it's all become like there's no value in the opportunity to be there. There's just not a lot of value. And they need to put more value into the show. I have a couple of ideas. And again, apologize, losing my voice, allergies. I have a couple of ideas. I think they need to open the show up to the public. Stop with the facade of the shows being closed. I know NRAs is open to NRA members, and I get that. Okay, but the NSSF needs to explore opening the show up to the public for at least a day or two. I think they need to offer more opportunities for the FFLs to interact with some of the brands and the brands to interact with some of the buyers. And they need to create more of these micro groups that will allow these interactions. I think they need to call upon the leaders of the industry to get together and to have roundtable discussions. I think those would be tremendously powerful. And I think a lot of people would like to hear where the industry is going. And that's what a trade show is supposed to do. Or at least that's what I thought. And I think upstairs, if you're going to teach classes or you're going to offer, whether it's a marketing class, a breakout session, or any of these things, I think all those opportunities are huge for brands. And brands would love to take advantage of them. But they have to be made possible and they have to be realistic. And I do think that there are tremendous opportunities in streaming for them. I think the NSSF would do a great job if it had the opportunity to beam into a lot of the gun stores via streaming or via audio, one of these platforms, and use it to their advantage to get their message out there. These aren't hard things, okay? But if we're still exploring fundraising, and fundraising to us looks like giving away a pouch or giving away a hat, come on, guys. We're better than that. So I do believe that there's opportunity. You just have to take advantage of it. And I have volunteered not only this show, my time, my energy for free to any of these organizations. I don't know how to put it any other way. I don't. There's no other way. I want to talk about Drunk 3PO. I want to get into that for a second. Shout out to him in 9line. I know they may or may not, I don't know, somebody in here can correct me, may be continuing the sale. And I believe last I left off with Jay texting him. I was texting him a little last night. I know it was Halloween. But I do believe that he is continuing the sale of the Welcome to the Rebellion apparel via 9line. I'm super proud of him for a number of reasons. He's blown the expectation out of the water. He's blown the numbers out of the water. And I think that's a huge testament to the geek and gamer community and the movement that you guys have created. And I think everybody should be proud in that space. And I'm super proud of all you guys for pushing that. Shout out to him, and awesome job, Jay. I mean, really an awesome job. Can't thank him enough. And Nine Line did a fantastic job with the promotion of it. It seemed like it all worked out. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. I'm trying to get away from Drunk 3PO. Thank you, Frank the Bunny, 666. Wow, that's terrifying. Appreciate you. But I watched those guys last night. They played a little Mario Kart. They had some costumes on. Those guys are awesome. Go check them out. We're still working on getting Gary on, okay? We're still working on getting Gary, Nerotic. I can't say when. I don't know. It's in the works. I can only tell you that. It's in the works. He's busy. You know, I'm running around. It's a scheduling thing. So we'll iron out the details and get that to you guys soon. That is going to happen. I promise you. There's also going to be a Drunk 3PO Part 2. I know he's another guest. A lot of people feel like, oh, have you had him on more than once? I have not really had him on more than once. He's used the studio. They've been in here. We've done a couple group ones. I've not had him on more than once. This will be his second episode, and we're going to get into a lot of the Nine Line stuff and some of the successes and some of the things he's going to be pushing his personal brand into. So I'm excited to see that and talk about that. That will happen. I think it's the first week in December. I'm not 100% sure. I'm working on that. I'll get the details. I have to double check my book. If I recall, it's the first week of December. So appreciate him. Go check out his channel if you get the opportunity. And the last piece I think is that we need to cover is reviews and everything else, sponsors, all that stuff. I wanted to just mention this. We will be having some studio changes, obviously, with the recent 6 Hour coming in as a sponsor. There's going to be a couple different ways we're going to do things. I do want you to support the sponsors. Click the links. Go check them out. Guys, even if you check out the pages, everything else, create an interaction, it means the world. Same thing with reviews. I was going to touch on this. Reviews are huge, guys. I can use all the reviews I can get, all the comments I can get, all the shares I can get. When you guys support the show, and I know the kind of community you are, it goes a long way and it means a lot to me. So please do your best to share the show, push the show out there, anything you can do. And I know Eric does a great job sharing the links. We have a lot of great guys on the team that support, help. And one last thing, hats. I knew I was forgetting another thing. I am not selling the hats. Some of you are going to get hats, whether it's this batch or the next batch. I'm going to get some out to some of you guys. We are going to get some of the hats in circulation kind of amongst the family. So hats are a thing. I just have to get them. I got to come up with a system. I'm going to come up with a system to get them to some of you guys. And some of you guys that are moderators are going to get them, and some people, I'm going to take care of everybody. But yes, we do have hats, and I know people have, I got a bunch of messages about hats. So I appreciate all you guys that message. We're not making them for sale right now. That doesn't mean in the future. There are possibilities, but yes. And thank you again for all the reviews, everything else. Any questions that came in maybe I missed? I don't see any. I see all the links. Thank you, Eric, for sharing all the links in the live chat. To everyone that supports the show, super chats, everything else. Guys, thank you. I can't even begin to tell you how awesome it is to have your support. And I thank you guys. And anything I can do, please go ahead, leave the comments, leave in the reviews. If you're looking for a certain kind of guest or a certain kind of brand associated with the show, let me know. Let me know. The best way is to let me know. All right, I'm losing my voice. As you can tell, we're out.